What is happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today we're covering a topic that I get asked constantly. If I can only have one combo, what would it be, the most universal thing? Or I'm new to fishing and I want to pick up a new combo or two. Debo, what should I get? What's the best thing for me to use? Well, what I want to do today is go over my top 5 bait casting, spinning combos, kind of everything that I use, my top 5 combos for bank fishing. Now, I want to focus on bank anglers again. I don't feel like they get enough love and help out in the YouTube community. And probably if you have a boat, you've probably got more than a few combos already because you've got the room for it, right? So without further ado, let's start with my number 1 most used combo. So when people ask me like, Debo, what is the most versatile combo to use? Somebody's out there sawing while I'm trying to talk fishing. Well, for me, that most versatile combo is a 7-2 is my favorite. This happens to be a 7'3", 7 foot to 7'3"-ish. Medium heavy combo rated for lures up to about 1 ounce. Now I say that because it depends on the rod company. Some companies like this is the Temple Fork Outfitters Tactical Elite Bass. And I tell you what, this rod is sick, super simple, love the colors, black and gray. I'm pretty simple. Obviously, look how I'm dressed today. Pretty simple when it comes to that stuff. Love it, except when it comes to my spinnerbait colors. So this combo matches what I've got on today. I try to plan accordingly. But that 7-foot-ish rod rated for lures 3/4 to 1 ounce. Like, to me, that's perfect. And the thing I like about this Temple Fork rod, they're a little bit softer. So it says it's a medium heavy, fast, but it's got a little bit more tip to it. And I think like that's such a universal thing you can do because you can get away with a little bit treble hooks, thicker treble hooks on something like this. Spinner baits, chatter baits, you can Texas rig with it, you can throw jigs with it, like you can do everything with this. I mean, that's truly why I like this type of rod. It does almost everything for you. Now the reel, you all know I like a 7-speed reel, so this is that new Daiwa Zillion SVTW. I'm gonna have a separate video on both of these in depth because this combo is silly. It feels extremely good. That Zillion reel is one of the best reels I have ever used. Now, this is not a cheap combo, and I'm gonna go over some different options in each one of these, but a 7-speed reel, and I have on this 15-pound fluorocarbon. This happens to be PLine Tactical. So that's it. I mean, that's the type of rod that I would go to for my number 1. A 7-foot-ish medium heavy, a 7-speed reel, 15-pound fluorocarbon's usually my go-to as well. Now, if you wanted something a little different, all kinds of options out there. The Dobyns Fury rods are a great rod, about $100 if you're looking for an all-purpose. The 734, I want to say. Shimano has the Intenza, the SLX rods, right around $100. Daiwa's got like the Tatula XT, right at about $100. I mean, all the companies have a bunch of good rods, and really I feel like that $100 price point's where you start to step up. A little bit more sensitive blank. You might have a little bit better guides, etc. But for a combo under $100, I've actually picked this up from Walmart. I've had a bunch of people asking me about it. It's the Lose Xfinity series. So far, I can't complain. Now, it doesn't have the most high quality guides on it. I'll kind of talk about that. I am going to do a full review of this. It's a little bit softer. This is a little shorter rod. So this is a 6'10" medium heavy, but like I said, it's a little bit softer, which is fine. Like I said, that's what I like. I've been throwing a chatterbait on it, feels good. But this whole combo alone is $99. So, so far it's been good, and especially you have to keep in mind how often are you fishing, right? If you only get to go out a couple times a month, you're not gonna be burning through gear as fast as, I'm trying to get out there and fish 4 times a week if I can, right? Or you look at the pros who are fishing nearly every day, right? So that's something you have to keep in mind to keep within your budget. Just because you see somebody else using something, don't think that that's the only thing out there. But I've been honestly pretty surprised by this. You're gonna see this in a video coming up. I was throwing a spinnerbait on it. It felt good, but there's all kinds of different options out there, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. And like if you're shorter, you fish a kayak, you might want something a little bit shorter like this, a 6'10". Even for bank fishing like this, I like it because it's so short and compact. When I'm around trees and bushes and stuff in those kind of tight spaces, this is easier to whip around than a 7'3" or 7'5" rod. So that's done well too. But like I said, there's a ton of different options out there. I'm going to try to touch on a few of those to give you some ideas. Okay, moving on to combo number 2. Now this might surprise a lot of you because I am a huge fan of the Baitcaster, but the second most important combo I think for a bank angler, anybody starting out, anybody doing a bunch of bank fishing, is a 7-foot-ish medium power spinning combo. This happens to be that Daiwa Tatula XT that I was just telling you all about. This is a 7-foot medium. To me, this is so essential because you can throw all your lighter stuff on it. So you can see here I have a drop shot. I'm trying to work my drop shot game. I am not great with a drop shot, but Ned rig, ton of confidence in it. Wacky rig, Nico rig, shaky heads, weightless fluke. You can throw so many things on this, even if you want to go with like tiny micro jigs. Last year I caught a 5-pounder at the end of the year using a spinning combo on a little micro jig. If you want to throw small swim baits, super versatile for the light stuff. There's no sense in trying to make the light stuff harder than it should be, like trying to throw a little 1/8-ounce jig on like that medium heavy casting combo. There's no sense in trying it. Just go over to a spinning combo like this, medium power spinning combo. Super versatile. I like a 3000 size reel. So this is the new Okuma ITX spinning reel. I have really liked that so far in testing, but 3000 size is my favorite. I don't like the little tiny reels. You have to remember that the bigger you go in the spool size, the bigger size you go with the reel, it's actually going to be a faster retrieve because that bigger spool is bringing in more line per rotation of the handle. And for me, most of the stuff I'm using on a spinning reel is stuff where I'm going to be moving the bait with my rod and just taking up slack line. So I like that 3000 size. To me, it's more comfortable. It doesn't feel like the little tiny ice fishing rods. I like a rod and reel with a little bit of, little meat to it. I don't want a little tiny reel. So I like a 3000 size. On pretty much all of my spinning reels now, I go with 15-pound braid. That's 15-pound. I like a high-vis braid. That's the PLine, what is it? I don't even remember what it's called. That bright fluorescent yellow. 15-pound to a fluorocarbon leader is pretty much how I'm doing that on all those. 10-pound is usually my go-to leader. You can drop down if you want it to be a little bit smaller. You want to get a little bit more action out of your bait, or if you think the fish are more line shy, you could drop down to an 8-pound, or if you're around more cover, you could bump up to a 12-pound. But nothing too crazy, and this might already be the first rod and reel you have, right? You picked up a spinning rig. You can do a ton on that. I love it. I think every bank angler should have one of those in the arsenal for all that lighter finesse stuff. It comes in handy. All right, moving over to combo number 3 now. This is the most important one to me, right? Because this is my frogging combo. Not only for frogging, but anything where you're in thicker, heavier cover where you need a rod with more backbone to get those fish out, or you have a bigger hook where you need more power to actually set that bigger hook into the fish's mouth. So for me, it's going to be a 7.3-ish is usually what I've been going to for my frog combos, somewhere around in there. This is the 7'4" heavy power fast action. This is that loose speed stick that you all saw me use last year for frogging. This rod is great. I like the tip to backbone on it. One thing I know with a lot of frog rods is people will get like an extra heavy, extra fast, and it's just too much. It's like a telephone pole, right? I've had good luck with a heavy power rod, one that's got just a little bit softer tip so you can throw a wider range of frogs, and even if you want to go to like lighter plastic frogs with like a little belly weight, or like a paddle tail swim bait without a hook that you're essentially fishing as topwater. You have to have a rod with a little bit of tip to throw those, because I might be throwing a 1/2 ounce frog and then drop down to a smaller frog, and I don't want to have 2 different combos to do that. So I like something that's kind of in between, good heavy rod, but still with a little bit of tip so I can cast them accurately. Now with the reel, generally I'm going to go with the 7-speed reel. Last year you all see me using and testing out that Revo X for frogging. This happens to be a 6.6 speed, so a 6.6 to 1. And it did fine for me. Again, depends on the individual. Some people like a little bit slower reel to have more torquing, winching power, to winch them through that stuff. I think a 7-speed is great for that. Some people like to go higher, 8 speeds, whatever. Up to you. I think that 7-ish, like 7.5 speed is the sweet spot. And then for my frogging combo, you could go 50-pound braid. I personally wouldn't go below 50-pound braid for frogging. That's just me. I usually go with 65-pound just to be safe. I don't notice a huge casting difference between the two. But a 50, 65-pound braid. And this combo can double for all your heavy stuff. So if you're somebody who fishes in heavier cover, heavier pads, heavier like grassy vegetation, wood piles, heavier wood piles, you have to remember as a bank angler, once you flip in there, you've got to be able to get that fish out. So it's not like being in a boat, you can drive over to it and help get it unstuck. Once you pitch in there as a bank angler, you better have a route to get it out, or a heavy enough combo to be able to really winch that fish through whatever's there. If I'm throwing 12-pound monofilament and flip into a big heavy brush cover and that fish gets stuck, 9 times out of 10 I'm breaking that off, right? If I've got 65-pound braid and a heavy combo, more than likely I'll be able to winch that fish out just out of sheer power, right? So That's kind of how I look at it for bank fishing, but you could use this as your, a jig combo. You could do a 65-pound braid to a fluorocarbon leader, 17, 20-pound leader. Texas rigs in thicker cover. I use this for Texas rigs, like the soft plastic frogs. I kind of used it as a wide range of stuff, especially in that dirtier, muddier water. I just go straight braid, and I don't usually mess with a leader when it's super muddy like that. I don't think it really makes a difference. So that's going to be my third combo. Now you can actually switch 3 and 4 around depending on how you fish, because if you say, well, Debo, I don't fish a bunch of heavy cover. Well, I got you covered there too. So that takes us over to combo number 4. Now, when I want to drop down to lures that are a little bit lighter, they might be kind of on the edge of that medium heavy. You might be casting them out, getting more backlashes. It just feels too stiff when you're trying to throw it. Well, if you just recently watched the vid that I dropped, I don't know, a few vids back, I was throwing a little underspin, right? A little 1/4 ounce underspin head. That's a Cumberland Pro Lures underspin head with the Little Dipper from Reaction Innovations. That's a pretty small lure. Did amazing on this combo. So this, you saw me do a review on that a while back. The Okuma Psycho Stick. This is a medium power, a 7'2", rated for lures up to 5/8 of an ounce. And a lot of the medium combos you're gonna see are rated up to kind of 5/8, ½ ounce. That's kind of where they max out at. And it's great for that kind of stuff if you're throwing a little bit smaller jerk baits or a smaller crankbait. Most of the medium power rods do great with that kind of stuff. You could even throw mono on there for a little bit more stretch. Instead of going to a dedicated cranking stick, like a glass combo that's really spongy, really parabolic, right? You can throw your lighter cranks, smaller cranks on this, smaller spinner baits, underspins, if you had like a little finesse chatterbait type thing. Finesse jigs, I was throwing finesse jigs on this, little 5/16 ounce finesse jigs, did awesome on this. So any of those lures are a little bit lighter, you feel like are maybe on the line with that medium heavy, a medium combo like this is great. Even like a jerkbait, I'm gonna show you one in my more specialized stuff. A jerkbait on something like this on a little bit softer medium combo does great. So on a reel for this one, for my medium combos, I do like to go with a little bit slower reel because a lot of the times it's smaller things that I'm casting and retrieving, or like a crankbait or something. So you can see this again is that Daiwa Zillion. This is a 6:3-to-1 speed, that SVTWG. I've said enough about it. The Zillion, this new reel is crazy good. And then 12-pound fluorocarbon is my go-to on a combo like this. I feel like you can throw most all the light stuff extremely well. You could bump up to 15-pound if you wanted, but 12 pounds is kind of my sweet spot. Okay, now for a budget combo like this, I have been extremely impressed with this. This might be one of the best combos I've used at $100. I've got a full review coming on this as well, but the rod and reel combo together, this is the Shimano Caius Combo. I think regularly this is like $120, 120 something. My Walmart, you might want to check your Walmart, has had it for 98 bucks, I think, for the combo. Has felt great. This is a medium power rod. Let's see, I don't know if they make other powers. Everything mine had was a medium, but it's a medium power, fast action rod rated up to lures to 1/2 ounce. Like I said, that's gonna kind of be the norm. But it's been a solid combo, a little bit softer, medium power rod. Like I said, you can do so much on this. $100 total for the combo. The Caius reel is actually pretty much just the same as the SLX. It doesn't have the aluminum frame though. Now, I do normally urge people to go with an aluminum frame if you fish more. I think they hold up better in the long run, but for a $100 combo total, I don't think you can go wrong with this guy. It's felt good so far. Like I said, more to come. I'm gonna do a full review on it, but just to kind of give you some options, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Just look for deals. Okay, now combo number 5. If I had a 5th combo, to me, I've covered my bases with those 4. If you have those 4, you can pretty much do anything. Unless you're getting into a really specific deal where you notice that you've got exactly one type of lure that you like and you want to kind of try to perfect that, is kind of where this 5th one comes in. Or something a little heavier, right? So, for example, if you want to get into the swim bait game, that's one thing I've been dabbling in. As a 5th combo, you could go with something that will accommodate heavier lures, 3-4 ounce lures. This happens to be a bass lure that I painted. I think it's like 3-something ounces. So this is that Dobbins Fury, their swim bait rod. This is a 8-foot, rated for lures up to 8 ounces. I would throw an 8-ounce lure on it because I feel this rod's kind of soft. I've thrown the 130 Chapo on this and actually liked it a lot for that. So, maybe up to 4 or 5 ounces or something. I wouldn't go much over that, but Lew's Super Duty 300, I have really liked that reel. It has felt good so far and it has held up to what I've put it through. Now, I haven't caught any trophy-sized bass on a huge swim bait. Maybe that will be the telling fact of it, but you can see actually this guy I got snagged, and look Luckily I was able to bend out the hook. I've got 80 pound braid on here, I want to say, to a leader. I had a steel leader on here fishing for pike, but in that specialized category, if you want to throw big lures like this, you have to go with something bigger. You're not going to be able to do it on like a regular heavy rod. Now another example would be, let's say you figure out you really like throwing a jerkbait or certain topwater where you have to work the lure with your rod tip down. You know, if I'm doing a jerkbait or if I'm doing like a topwater popper, I've got my rod tip down, popping that, working it. And let's say you only have a 7'3" rod, that can be tough fishing from the bank. You're constantly slapping the water or the ground. Then you might consider a smaller combo like this. So this is actually a 6'8" medium light combo. This is the Lew's, the new TP1X rod, $100 rod. I have really liked this. For $100, I think you definitely get your money's worth. You also get the wind grips on it, and it's got a shorter handle, which comes in handy because when you're working those lures, you don't want this banging up against your arm all the time. Some of the more standard rods will have a longer butt section here, and you're clanking into stuff. Real short butt. This isn't a super like parabolic soft rod, which like some of the crankbait rods, which kind of works against you if you're using a jerkbait or topwater thing because the end of that rod's flopping all around when you're trying to work it. So something like the Nico rig, I'm going to throw the Nico wacky rig more. Let's say you throw that 9 out of 10 times you go, you might want to get a second spinning combo literally set up just for that. This is an Okuma combo that I've been trying out. You might want to have one set up literally for like that stick bait, Nico, whatever, so you've always got one tied on. I like that anyway, having one like that, like as a follow-up lure, because let's say if I'm throwing a spinner bait or a frog and that fish misses it, if I've already got a combo like this rigged up, I can throw that stick bait in there as a follow-up lure. And I don't know, 8 times out of 10, you're gonna get that fish to react to it if he's still there looking around hungry when you miss a bite. So that's another advantage to taking out multiple combos. I've talked about that in videos before, but that kind of gives you and one other thing would be like, so for example, you seen me do this the other day, that Dobbins rod, a square bill rod, like a more parabolic, soft crankbait rod. Let's say you throw crankbaits all the time, square bills, 6-foot divers. You might want to get a dedicated cranking combo just for that really excels at those crankbaits, keeping those fish pinned with the treble hook, because believe it or not, you have fish hit a treble hook lure and still miss it, not get hooked sometimes. I don't know how it's possible, but it happens. But that's what I would advise for the 5th combo. Figure out like what you love the most if you think you need one more, and try to get a specialized combo tailored exactly for that, so the whole combo, everything feels awesome in your hand, you want to use it. So that's going to do it for me today. Comment below and let me know about my picks. Do yours differ? Are they pretty much the same? Do you like this kind of video, really just talking gear, going over the different gear and stuff that I use? If you want to get more specific into like a specific thing like spinner baits, the gear I use for that exactly, whatever it is, comment below and let me know. I love doing this type of stuff. But today's subscribed fishing friend is John Baker. John, thanks for continuing to watch and support my channel. It means a ton to me. And thank you everybody else who has helped me get to where I am today, because without all you watching, my channel would be nothing. So that's it for me. I got to get all this inside. It's so beautiful out. It's 80 degrees today, and we just had like frost warnings the other day. But gotta go to this in to get editing and cleaning up. So thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time.